Hello guys and welcome back to Max Talks Football and welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about Premier League predictions, 1 to 20, who's going to win the title, Champions League spots and who's going to get relegated. It is going to be an exciting Premier League season, so let's get straight into it. So here we have it. Oh, it pains me to say, I think Arsenal are going to win the league this season. Why do I think that? I think the signing of Declan Rice obviously is huge. And they've kept hold of Partey, which is very big as well. So I think Partey will hold in midfield. Obviously missing Jesus. But I think the signings they've made, combined with the fact that Man City have let go of Gundogan, who was their skipper and probably their most influential player in the biggest games, minus Haaland possibly, we could argue. He's getting you 15 goals a season. Mahrez might not seem a huge loss because, he's in and out of the team a lot. But whenever they're rotating and resting players from Champions League and then playing on the weekend in the Premier League, he starts and he scores. He's good for 15, 20 goals a season, has been over for the last 3 seasons. So I think that, yes, they got Alvarez to step in and do that role, but I think Mahrez was just such a good player just to come on and play. So I think their squad has got weaker. They've signed Gvardiol, who may solve their left centre half, left back problems, but Ake's been doing a good job there. So Arsenal have made real big strides. I do think mentally winning that Community Shield game, that is big. It's not huge, but it's big. They needed to win that game. Obviously, they drew over 90 minutes and won on penalties. But I think mentally that is good. So, God, a lot of the Wilson boys are all Arsenal fans, so that will be unbearable. But City, no team's won it 4 times in a row. A big reason as well, I just think mentally, coming off the back of a treble. Now, I know Guardiola's an absolute madman and he's motivation beyond. But I do think subconsciously the motivation levels will be a little bit lower within the players. Coming off the back of a treble, they might want to go and try and retain the Champions League. And I just think Arsenal just look good. They've signed well. They've strengthened the people they've got coming off the bench, which was their problem last season when Jesus got injured. Nketiah did a good job, but you had wide men when Martinelli got injured. They signed Trossard in January. I think that's a great signing. So I just think their squad's a lot stronger this season. And yeah, I think they're going to do it. Moving on to 3rd and 4th, the Champions League spots. Apparently 5th position might get a Champions League spot this year as well. So depending on that, who makes Champions League. But Man United in 3rd for me. I think they've signed Mason Mount. I'm a big fan of Mason Mount. He's getting criticised from all parts at the minute. And it will take time for him to adapt. But I think him and Bruno will play as 2 8s. And with Casemiro holding midfielder, I think both those 2 8s work hard. Casemiro works hard. Both of them, I think Mount's actually underrated with his defensive assets, how well he can defend. So I think that's a very strong midfield. Rashford will probably play off the left. I expect him to start up front early on, but I think recent things he's been saying, he wants to play off the left. And yeah, they seem to have solved the Maguire problem. Martinez is back and they look more solid. And the goalie problem, number one issue for them was the De Gea problem. Onana's in. He's going to suit the way they play. He's played under this manager at Ajax, Erik ten Hag. So yeah, they'll make mistakes and, he's caught off his line the other day. But what he gives you going forward, I know it sounds silly going forward as and the way they want to play as a goalkeeper, it doesn't really compare with what De Gea. And, he played very well in that Champions League final for Inter Milan against Manchester City, made some big saves. And we've seen him in World Cups as well make big saves. So I think that's a very big signing. Liverpool's an interesting one. I've got them in 4th, mainly because just their attacking output and their strength is so good. Salah just banging out 25, 30 goals a season, easy. They've got Diaz back fit. They've got Jota. They've got Nunez. They've got Gakpo. They signed McAllister. The midfield seems a problem to me as well. I know they've signed McAllister and are looking to get Lavia as well, but losing Henderson and Milner and Fabinho all in one window, that's a lot of character and a lot of experience there. So I'm expecting them to score a lot of goals, but also concede a lot of goals with that midfield being quite, easy to get at in transition. I like McAllister, fantastic at Brighton, one of my favourite teams to watch last season. I've got them in 4th, but I could have them lower. But I just do think they've had, you got the Van Dijk factor, you've got the Trent factor, you've got the Salah factor. So they'll be strong, but I'm not sure. I've got my team, Chelsea, in 5th. Probably too high in a lot of people's eyes, but we have no European football to contend with. Just playing Saturday every week. Yeah, I mean, and Cuckoo's just been declared injured for 3.5 months. That is not good news at all. But I do think the lack of European football will benefit us. Pochettino, I really rate as a manager. Really rate. I reckon if a couple more could come through the door before the end of the transfer window, will Caicedo come through the door? I don't know. We need some midfield reinforcements, absolutely. We were in for Mohamed Kudus, who's off to Brighton, it looks like. That will be a bit of a blow. So yeah, just I need a little more sprinkle in attack. Defense looks okay. Still question marks over the goalkeeper, but I'm kind of trying to put my allegiances aside. But a fifth place finish for us because of the lack of European football. I have Villa in sixth. Villa, Newcastle, and Tottenham. All I'm not too sure. Tottenham, Harry Kane, is he coming or going? That will really play a big part in my prediction. So that could change before the first game of the season or before the window ends. Bayern Munich have lodged another bid in today of over 100 million euros. So will Daniel Levy let him go? I'm not too sure. I think he'll stay and then go on a free in the summer. Harry Kane's in control of that situation. Villa and Newcastle. I think Villa will be unbelievable this season. I'm a massive fan of Unai Emery. Amazing at Villarreal, Sevilla before that. They do have Europa League this season or Europa Conference League. And I think they'll be travelling a lot, but I don't think that Conference League's that strong. Obviously, West Ham won it last season and will go into the Europa League this season. So I think Villa will win that. They made some good signings. Diaby, I think, looks good from Bayer Leverkusen. Ollie Watkins will score goals up front, and Pau Torres is an excellent signing defence from Villarreal. Knows Emery, knows what he wants playing out from the back. I think they look really strong and will have a very, very good season. Newcastle just below them really overachieved last season massively and probably reached the level the owners and the Saudis wanted them to reach like 2 seasons before maybe they should have. Harvey Barnes, I love that signing. Isak and Wilson may share minutes up front. So they are strong. Sandro Tonali, excellent signing midfield. Apparently was Eddie Howe's number one signing he wanted to make. So they have strength. They need to strengthen a centre half and maybe left back because I'm hearing they might move Trippier to left back, but I'm not a big fan of that. But yeah, just dealing with the Champions League football will maybe take a toll on them. So I've got them down in seventh. We spoke about Spurs. Brighton, one of my favourite teams to watch. They've got European football this season as well. I may suffer like Newcastle, but I just love watching them play. Estepinian plays like a winger from left back. Obviously, lost McAllister, might lose Caicedo, so those could be big losses. I like their strike force. Ferguson, Welbeck, and João Pedro may rotate, so I think they'll be an exciting as ever. And yeah, a fantastic team to watch. I've got Palace in at 10th to round off the top half. Roy Hodgson staying. One of my biggest players that I'm a massive, massive fan of is Eze, Eberiche Eze. He looks like he could, I think he'll probably be gone. Sorry, Palace fans, by the end of this season or in January. He looks fantastic. But yeah, I think they're exciting. I know a lot of people may be tipping them to struggle, but I've got them above Brentford, who I think will struggle a little bit this season because of no Tony for the first 6 months. Haven't made any like really big signings. I could be wrong on that, but I think they will suffer a little bit. West Ham, they're into Europa League spot. I said after winning the Conference League, I could have them too high here. I'm not too sure, but big fan of David Moyes. It was under a lot of pressure last season. A lot of people calling for his head and buzzing for him to get a trophy in for so long in West Ham's history. Declan Rice leaving, they have not replaced him yet. I was expecting Ward-Prowse to go there or maybe Lavia, but it looks like both of them could go to higher teams in Spurs, Liverpool, Chelsea, maybe. So they do need to replace that. I may have them too high here, so they do need to spend that Rice money, even though it may be installments. They do need to spend and strengthen in the midfield. Fulham, obviously, there's a few issues with Mitrovic at the minute, and Palhinha is a massive player for them. He's going to be out for the first 5-6 weeks, I think, with a shoulder problem, or I can't remember. It might have been an upper body problem. So yeah, but Andre, so they've signed Raul Jimenez. So if Mitrovic does go, Jimenez, I know he struggled with his head injury at the latter stages of Wolves, but I think having a Portuguese manager there with Silva will benefit him. And I think he's proven Premier League record, but we just got to see whether he's fully recovered from that head injury, which was absolutely awful. Bournemouth with their new manager, I'm not sure. I think they could be a little surprise package this season. I know I've got them in 14th, so not much of a surprise. But yeah, they've got rid of Gary O'Neill. I think the owners are wanting to go in a little bit of a different direction. So it'll be interesting with them. I've got them in 14th. Sean Dyche is Everton in 15th. Kind of does what he says, what you get on the tin with Sean Dyche. Going to keep them strong. Needs to keep Calvert-Lewin fit, I should say. But will be good from set pieces. I've got Burnley in 16th, Sean Dyche's old club, Vincent Kompany. I think they'll be all right. I think they'll score a lot of goals. We know they're playing a lovely brand of football. Absolutely stormed the Championship last season. So yeah, interesting to see where they finish. I've got them safe, comfortably, maybe by 5 or 6 points, but we'll have to keep an eye over their shoulders this season. Nottingham Forest, not seen much development with them. I'm a massive fan of Morgan Gibbs-White. I think he will be moving on in the next year or two. I watched him in the tournament they won? Was it the Euros? Or the World Cup they won for the under-21s this season. Very good. And I watched him at Stamford Bridge in person for Forest last season when we drew 2-2. And he was excellent there. So big player for them to keep fit. Really rate him. And then at the bottom three I have Luton and Sheffield United, two new teams coming up from the champ. Luton, what an incredible achievement to even get into the Premier League. I think they'll struggle. Sheffield United likewise. And I've got Wolves. Rumours at the minute that their manager Lopetegui may be leaving, maybe falling out with the board there, not getting in the players he wants. He is a very, very good manager. I mean, their season tailed off. He is a fantastic manager. He's managed Real Madrid, Spain, huge teams like that. So if he's not getting the players he wants, I can see him going or falling out with the board. So I expect them to struggle this season. Looking forward to seeing Pedro Neto back. Really like him as a player. Awful injury record in the last year or two. So hoping he can hit the ground running. Always lack goals, haven't they? Even under Espirito Santo, always lack goals. So yeah, they round off the teams I think that are going to go down. Who do you think will be the surprise package of the year? I've got Villa very high. I mean, that might not be a surprise to most, but I've got them in 6th. Who do you guys think are going to get relegated this season? Who do you think is going to win the league? I know Arsenal's a big shout. Get into the comments below. Like and subscribe, guys. Really trying to get this channel to 500 subscribers. A long way to go yet. But yeah, thanks for the support and see you on the next one.